Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hustler, and this is Naya Zoo. Naya Company Zoo, Naya Bloodbraid Zoo, whatever you want to call it. It is one of the best aggressive Bloodbraid Elf decks there are. All right, our opponent looks to be, Ancestral Vision. All right, so it's not Storm. Interesting, okay. Well, our life total might matter a little bit. Can I afford to just fetch out a Plains here? Yeah, I guess technically I can. Should be a forest rather instead of a Plains. I'm not going to though. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to get a stomping ground here. And maybe we get punished later for being pretty aggressive with our lands here. You know, it's hard to know though off Spiral Canal and Ancestral Vision if it's a really hardcore blue-red control deck or something, Jeskai control, something like that, or if it's a blue-red Pyromancer deck where our life total matters a little more. I do like that if our opponent just kills our Scavenging Ooze, we get a follow-up with Renegade Rallier getting back Scavenging Ooze. That's pretty strong. Rallier is a very powerful card. I love this thing. All right, instead of our opponent did nothing, which is interesting. Let's see what they do. Also, Wooded Foothills, Spiral Elf Canal, that's a little odd. So it's Teamer, I guess. So they're playing Bloodbraid Elf, obviously. So the question is if there's Blood Moon or not. But it's probably just a Teamer mid-range deck. Jace is on top of that, which means, and this is important working through the process here, deciding what we want to play on this turn. Do you think because your opponent has blue mana open in 2 mana, do they have Mana Leak? Do they have counter spells? Probably not, is the conclusion I come to. And it matters what we would play because I would probably just run out the Rallier or something if I thought maybe he was going to get, Mana Leaked. But because I see this Wooded Foothills, it tells me they're playing Teamer, which means they're playing Bloodbraid Elves, which means they are unlikely to have counterspells because it's a bad cascade, which means, in theory, we are good to run out this Knight of the Reliquary. Now, we can next level that and say, maybe I should have popped the Arid Mesa anyway, so this is a 4/4 and doesn't get bolted. But then again, I imagine my opponent would have just bolted the Scavenging Ooze. It would be quite disciplined of them to not bolt the Scavenging Ooze when we attack with it there, so we'll see. It's possible that play comes back to, to haunt me or is wrong. I mean, but right now this is our only way to trigger the Revolt on Renegade Rallier. And like I said, it would have been a very disciplined play from our opponent to take 2 damage from Scavenging Ooze because this is a problem in the long game for them. As it turns out, it was not bolted, which means we're probably safe here. Ooh, pretty Flooded Grove. I love Expeditions. Oh, As Foretold, you say. Okay. Well, then, everything I just said is off the rails. What the heck? So it's Teamer As Foretold Living End deck? Okay, I guess. I'm going to put more creatures out there. Hope it's good enough. What the heck? Okay, whatever. So I'll go green here, and then I'll Rallier green-white and get back to Scavengers. I mean, this is still good for us. In the sense that given that we just got Wrath by the As Foretold Living End, things are going to end up about as well as they possibly could. Wow, that was quite surprising, though. Okay, well, it's a good board for us. I mean, we have, several creatures here. We have Kessig Wolf Run to pump. We have double Lightning Bolt if we can force through some more damage. But I won't lie, Teamer As Foretold Living End certainly caught me off guard. So props to our opponent. All right, they put that in play tapped. It's not a Jace. Not that Jace would be good on this board anyways. Quasali Primate is in our deck. That's good against As Foretold. Electrolytes to kill Scavenging Ooze. Okay. Collected Company's a nice one. I would say, again, it's very unclear. I guess I'm just going to Company in my main phase, which means I should have Companied pre-combat, and I didn't. That was a mistake. I was just thinking it through. The thing is, I want I want to do it on their inset, but if they had another living in, they probably would have used it. You know, we could get blown out by that, but we also could get blown out by a counter spell. Wow, this was a pretty good hit, though, off company here. We have a Voice of Resurgence, which is good if they have another Wrath, and the Nine of the Reliquaries, just pretty good period. So we're not really punished here. I believe the Vision comes off Suspend this turn, though, so that's pretty bad for us. Yeah, this is, I mean, now they could easily draw another Limited Wrath. Our board leaves us with a tiny little Voice of Resurgence token, a 1/1. Also, they have things are going to spiral out of control very quickly. It's highly unlikely our opponent has nothing here. And by nothing, I mean, like, their spells are going to be high impact, whether it's a Living In just wrecking our day, or it's a, I don't even know what this deck would do. I mean, Serum Visions is, I guess, a start. They can also cast another Ancestral Vision for free off of As Foretold. That's obviously a disaster for us as well. I mean, basically, we're hoping that whatever our opponent does have, and it could also be Cryptic Command at this point. Yeah, this is all just real bad for us. These double lightning bolts give us a ray of hope here. If we can just find a way to get them down to 6, that we can finish them off. And you know what? If they're playing Tarmogoyf, we actually have a chance. Especially when we hit Bloodbraid Elf off the top like a champ. All right, Bloodbraid, spin the wheel. See what we hit. Wild Nikata. Well, it's a creature. I think I get in with the team. 6/8. Because if our opponent eats the Knight of the Reliquary, as you would expect, we're going to get Cryptic Commanded, though. Yep, tap draw, sure. They give us a token, though, so... I mean, it doesn't matter if they end up wrathing our board, but they played their own Tarmogoyf, so you wouldn't necessarily expect a Wrath to follow up here. I go Knight of the Reliquary a little larger. I don't think any of this matters too much. I think I just get a Windswept Heath here. Just things that make our Knight of the Reliquary as large as possible. Also, we can fetch for, you know, another red source here. You know, I guess in terms of what our opponent does when they resolve Ancestral Vision, playing a Tarmogoyf and tapping down our team is not the worst. They gave us a free elemental that probably doesn't matter. Oh, it's Eternal. Oh. We might be locked. So every turn, they can play Eternal... Oh my gosh. Okay, well, good thing we have these lightning bolts, I guess. So what this is my opponent can Cryptic Command our team down so we can't attack. And the other mode can be to pick up the Eternal Witness, and they can play the Eternal Witness for free off of the As Foretold and repeat the loop. It's pretty good for our opponent. I think with this... No, I'm going to do nothing here. We have to get the Eternal Witness off the field with one of these lightning bolts, or we're just locked out. I mean, currently our opponent... we actually, you know, we have some options here. You know, things we can hit. On the other hand, we will eventually just die to Tarmogoyf. In the instep, I'm going to try to bolt this. Our opponent has 6 cards in hand. This is just not good for us, but see what we can do here. This is pretty awkward for them, though. I think the Eternal Witness is probably going to die. Things get really troublesome for us starting next turn, too, because the As Foretold will have 4 counters, and now they can play the Cryptic Command for free. Yeah, this is just pretty bad all around, to be honest. Don't think we're favored to win out of this point. It's possible our opponent's cards just don't match up well enough. That Serum Visions, they went bottom, so I mean, that's good for us. The Eternal Witness bites the dust. I don't even think I want to fetch. I don't want to take any more damage. Okay. Well, let's get the Team Cryptic down. Whoa! What? I don't know what this means. I guess I keep something back. I'll keep this thing back. No, I don't want to keep this thing back. Let me keep this thing back. You know, it doesn't even matter because if my opponent casts anything, I get to get an elemental. Did my opponent might have just F6 through the turn there. I don't know what that was, but I'll take it. All right, get the Gaddock in there. Get the Thalias in there. Thing is, the company's probably actually better than Bloodbraid here. I don't think the Lingering Souls are great. I think company's better than Bloodbraid, even though it obviously is a Nambo with Thalia, sort of. This is good here. I like this. And company's definitely Nambo with Gaddock, but the Path to Exiles I don't think matter. I mean, I guess we need to just Path to Tarmogoyf occasionally. I'm going to cut a company here. I don't think we want any of this. This is not bad, but it's not really that good either. Grudge doesn't seem to matter. Tracker I don't think matters. Justice, and so I mean it's not bad, but it's probably not great either. Bajuka Bog, sure we're doing it. Bajuka Bog, get on in there, please. This is it. If our opponent goes Eternal Witness, we can fetch up a Bajuka Bog at instant speed with Night Reliquary. Live the Dream. Actually does break up their combo. I'll give this a shot. I don't know how many decks, and it's certainly probably not correct. You go into game 2 with one collected company to your deck, but whatever. The thing is, it actually is very good. It still just makes your opponent have something, and you cast it in their end step, and that's very good against them, right? So that is a thing, and it's a thing worth having in the deck, even though if Gaddock is out, we can't play it. Then again, if we stick Gaddock, having one collected company dead in our deck, maybe it's in our hand, is not that big of a deal because it means it's still, like, our opponent's going to have so many more dead cards. And if we have to pay one more for our company, it's whatever, because they have to pay one more too. These are still reciprocal effects, and just because they're not, yes, in the perfect world, you want the cards like that to not affect you at all, but sometimes it's just fine if they affect you a little, but your opponent a lot more. I want to. This hand's so close. If we had one more land, obviously, be great. Mulligan. Yeah, we'll keep this one. It's awkward. It's a Gaddock. I'm going to keep it though. We're on the draw, so we're on the draw, and we're pretty all in on this Hierarch surviving. But if we draw one land, well, 2 lands, I guess. But even one land, this hand does a lot. And if our Hierarch survives, that's really good as well. Yeah, basically if our Hierarch survives the turn and then we play Gaddock, then all of a sudden our opponent has to care about the Gaddock and so on. So we'll be fetching a Stomping Ground first here. If we can just, if the card behind our Gaddock is a land, we're set. That's all we need this game, I think. Our opponent's deck is sweet, though. I really think they must have just F6 through it last turn. So they could have tapped our team down with Cryptic, and, they had so many cards. Surely they could have done something after that. They certainly had another turn. But hey, everyone makes mistakes. All right. Get our Stomping Ground, play our Hierarch, and cross your fingers, folks. They went top-bottom with the Serum Visions. All right, fingers crossed. Doing a lot of this tonight, I guess. Misty Rainforest. That could make red mana. Please let my Hierarch survive. It's just a little human druid. It's an 0/1. It's never done anyone any harm. Uh-oh. Oh, it's an Ancestral Visions and a Serum Visions. Yeah, our opponent has all kind of vision, but hey, we have mana, so I'll allow it. All right, now if we just draw land, it'll be dream territory. We're going to play Night Reliquary. Oh my gosh, I'm so good at this game. Yep. All right. And that friends, that's how you be good at Magic right there. You cross your fingers, hope your opponent doesn't bolt your bird. They don't bolt your bird, and you draw a land off the top anyways. Now, and this is the beauty of Knight of the Reliquary, by the way, people. This card, not only is it a 4-mana 3/3 right now, sorry, 3-mana 4/4 right now that can do cool stuff like, oh, they had the Electrolyze for our Hierarch. Okay. It can do all the cool stuff. It can go get all those sweet lands out of our deck. But you know what else it does? It ramps you. Now, in this case, I won't be doing that because I'm just going to play this Pride Mage and get on in there. But this card also just ramps you. You can tap a land for mana, then sacrifice it to the Knight, and then tap the new land because Knight puts it into play untapped. And we would have cast Bloodbraid this turn if they hadn't electrolyzed our Hierarch there. Now, playing our Pride Mage here is slightly risky in the sense that if our opponent has Living End as Foretold is a Living End, we lose our ability, since we're tapped out, to interact with that as Foretold, and our Pride Mage would die. On the other hand, it seems reasonable if they'd had as Foretold in their hand last turn, they likely would have just played it and then cast the Living End to get rid of both of our creatures, not giving us a Knight of the Reliquary and starting to take up their as Foretold. So they either drew it for their turn, or they drew it off the Electrolyze. So it's, 2 cards we have to fade, but the upside here is pretty strong. I mean, we got in for another point of damage because of the Exalted. We get to untap with it and play. Our opponent has Cryptic Command up now, so that's a thing. But hey, we got in a big point. We got in a bunch of damage there. Now they have to answer the Quasali Pride Mage, and as long as we leave mana open, they can't even really do it with an As Foretold Living End because we'll just end up sacrificing the Pride Mage to destroy the As Foretold, and the Living End just trades with the Knight of the Reliquary, and it wouldn't even be good. We get a Hierarch back. It's Jace though. Jace not very good either though. Not really good at all. Because if they were to bounce our Knight of the Reliquary, which actually would be a pretty good play, they'd lose to the Pride Mage, killing Jace. That said, it's an interesting line. Our opponent brainstormed here, and you can't fault them for doing that. But if you had bounced our Knight, we didn't have a land drop last turn. We can't actually replay it. Ooh, that's a nice one. I think I will be playing that. All right, this attacks our, whoops, other way around. Undo, please. I'd like this one to attack Jace, this one to attack our opponent. All right, that's how we put Jace down to 0. And, oh gosh, it is Ancestral Vision time though, isn't it? Oh, it's not. It's next turn. Okay. It's not even so bad. It's next turn. But this Thalia is going to be very good here. It'll tax the Ancestral Vision. It taxes a Living End As Foretold combo. Both halves of that. If they had land, they could still do it, but either way, this card's very good to resolve here. And you know what? Our opponent's in a lot of trouble next turn because if they don't have land to pay for the tax, they do have the land. Okay, so they can still Cryptic our team here. 3 green mana. Here comes the Eternal Witness. Okay. Getting back what? Serum Vision? Okay, sure. I'll bolt the Eternal Witness and attack for a lot of damage. Are they dead? We have 8. We have 8 points of damage. There's the Collected Company right on time. But sure, this is still pretty fine here. I do wish I wish we were going to get a chance to do the cool play and go get the Bajuga Bog and wreck our opponent, but obviously I would say just attacking for 8 damage is better. Now, if we draw one of the other 3 lightning bolts, it's lethal, etc. Our opponent gets to do a lot right here, though. They could draw with Ancestral Vision. They just Serum Visions as well, in which they went top-bottom. But they're at 2, so it also messes with their fetch lands, etc. Well, they probably have basics they can fetch, and being at 2 is the same as being at 1. Still dead to Lightning Bolt. I guess the only actual difference it would make, hey, pretty Tarns too, is dying to a Noble Hierarch beatdown. There's the As Foretold. Here comes the Living End. Well, if they don't have Living End here, they are in trouble. In fact, they're dead, I imagine. Yeah, and they have also deduced that they can just go to 1, play Living End here, wipe our board. Unfortunately, because we didn't hit land, we can't kill the As Foretold. Oh, but it does matter. We did get back the Hierarch. So now we have mana again. Oh, they get Eternal Witness back Jace, though. All right, well, fingers crossed we find some sort of removal here. If we hit Path or Bolt, we win. Land is pretty good, too. Thalia, not exactly what we wanted. I think our plan has to be to Nacatl and Gaddock Teeg here. And to be fair, it is a pretty good plan. Our opponent hasn't shown us lightning bolts at all, so it's not unreasonable to think they don't have them. Now they can't play the Jace that they just see Eternal Witness back to their hand. They can't play Cryptics. Pretty good for us overall. And we even put, we put 2 bodies onto the board, which, given that our opponent is at 1 life, is also super relevant. All right, here we go. Is it a lightning bolt? Lightning bolt into Jace here is pretty bad for us. Again, we still have outs. Like we're certainly still live to win this game because our opponent's at 1. See Ancestral Vision for free off of As Foretold. Pretty good. 0 mana, draw 3 cards. Better than Ancestral Recall. That said, our opponent isn't just immediately firing off a removal spell here. Is it another E-Witness? No, it's a... Oh. Well, that's pretty good. Okay. Land? Here's the path a turn late. Oh, this is bad. They get to flip this thing and destroy our Gaddock Teeg with it. I mean, I have to path it. I guess if I play Thalia, it wouldn't flip until my turn, and it means they do nothing on their turn. But then it means they get to play Cryptics and everything else they have. Oh. Feels terrible, but I just have to path this thing. That said, if this was their turn, just playing this thing, that's not the most powerful thing they could do. And getting rid of it is pretty good against them. All right, well, we got rid of it. Our opponent has so much mana to work with, though. And none of this is good for us. All right, we'll get in there with the Nacatl. On the other hand, I mean, on the plus side, if that was our opponent's big plan, if that was the best answer that they had to Gaddock Teeg was to play a Huntmaster, oh, they do have lightning bolts. Oh, okay. Wow. Does that mean they just don't care about Gaddock Teeg? Well, that's terrible for us. I'm starting to think we're just going to have to draw a lightning bolt to win this one. It's a cool wolf token. Yeah, that Huntmaster was really, really good there. I thought I certainly was under the impression that we'd played this much so far that just thought there weren't going to be lightning bolts. Fortunately, there were. And the fact that our opponent didn't... Yeah, this is a disaster. Our opponent didn't even care to bolt our Teeg. Means they just didn't think they needed it. Now they get to get back their Ancestral Vision. Yeah, we're basically all in on the hit a lightning bolt plan here. Our opponent can just Cryptic the lightning bolt if we find one. Yeah, this was a close one, but never hitting a third land was kind of rough, won't lie. Didn't need a lot of lands to play this game. I did need probably a third one at some point. Well, here comes Jason. Here comes the brainstorm. So, all right, we have a chance. Our opponent has mostly tapped out. They're obviously going to have As Foretold and can do things for 2 mana, but we have 3 lightning bolts to win the game. We have land that give us Bloodbraid Elf to try to hit lightning bolt to win the game. So we'll see what happens. I also have company, but that does not hit lightning bolt. I want to hit lightning bolt when we actually have a chance to resolve it. That was not a lightning bolt. Bloodbraid gets attacked for 5 though. Gives it 4 toughness, which is not irrelevant. Oh. I see. I mean, I guess 3 toughness is the same as 4 here. It means I have to throw 2 things in front of it. I think we're pretty much going to be Cryptic E-Witness locked, though. Yeah, and this chump block makes more sense. All right. Game continues. Our opponent has As Foretold and Jace. Think we're going to win? So they do have counter spells. And maybe they don't have Bloodbraid Elves. I won't lie. I am basically at a loss for guessing what's in my opponent's deck at this point. We're pretty dead, though. Once the Jace starts brainstorming, like, it seems pretty over. Oh, down to 2. Okay, sure. Shock yourself? Oh, I think our out was them shocking themselves there. We died. Yep, we're dead. We're not beating that. Okay. No clue what my opponent's deck is. I want this Kitchen Finks though. Yeah, I don't have any idea what my opponent's deck is. Kitchen Finks is good because it's you know what we do on Lingering Souls. Oh, obviously that's what I said earlier. I wasn't sure what the Overgrown Tomb was for. It's obviously for the Lingering Souls flashback. I just have no idea what's happening here. Is this good? My opponent doesn't play creatures until way later in the game. You know, this is probably fine. Again, the thing is, you know, we cut company because we have all these cards that, you know, are bad with company. But company would have been really good if we were actually able to play it in that game. Look at all the paths. I don't know. I will admit to being somewhat at a loss as to what I'm supposed to do against Chase. Or, sorry, against... I don't know what our opponent has. Like, I can't predict what's in their deck. Here we go with this conundrum again. This one's even better if we... We just lose, though, if our opponent has a bolt, which we now know they have. All right, we have to keep this. This is obviously pretty bad compared to that last hand, but we get a scry. Get rid of the bolt. I don't want to get rid of the bolt, but we have to get rid of the bolt here. Scavenging Ooze is good. It's so tempting on 7-card hands like that. I know the discipline thing that you're supposed to mulligan, but we are going to get bolted, right? Yeah, okay, well. I mean, we made the right decision, right? And that's why I did it. I knew it was the right decision to make, but this hand is just so bad, though. That hand had so many good things in it, and now we're sitting here with 1 creature and playing 3 lands in hand. So, I mean, yeah, we can prop this to draw another card, but our opponent's on double lightning bolts. Well, that's not good for us. That is good for us. All right, well, let's play out Scavenging Ooze here. Surely they don't have bolt number 3, right? And we start eating cards from their graveyard, so that in itself is sort of relevant. Oh, come on. Okay. They do have Lightning Bolt number 3. Well, we can punish them by having Bloodbraid off the top. Otherwise, if we have a miss, say if we draw land or something, it's gonna get ugly real quick. Wow, and our opponent has the best card they could have here, basically. Yeah. It's all pretty bad for us. All right, here we go, Bloodbraid. Cool. All right, well, if our opponent plays Jace, basically the game's over. Because Jace, Knight of Reliquary is a great card, but it does not match up against Jace. Our opponent had triple Lightning Bolt, Scavenging Ooze, and now nothing. Okay, well, they're just going to kill us with the Scavenging Ooze. We can't bolt it. We boarded out the pass. I needed to, I don't know. Our opponent just had the nuts, though, so I don't know if we ever really had a shot. But hey, we get to get his graveyard. It's hard to think of many hands of ours that could have beat the hand our opponent had. It involves Bloodbraid Elves, that's for sure. I guess we're not dead if we hit Bloodbraid off the top. Our Knight of the Reliquary sure doesn't do much against the Scavenging Ooze because Scavenging Ooze can shrink it. We draw the Lightning Bolt to turn after we could bolt the Scavenging Ooze. Just, yeah, it's not the way you really want things to pan out. Our opponent's like is sweet. Don't know if it's you know, theoretically they have Vial in the deck. It's the Eternal Command deck. You know, I know what it is, but man, it's just there are so many cards that just don't work well together. They're gonna get us though. They're gonna get us pretty hard here. All right, well, let's play this Renegade Rallier, which they get to eat our land when we try to get our Horizon Canopy back because they have mana open for it now. Yep, makes sense, sure. Well, our plan is to block with Renegade Rallier. You know, for everything that's gone wrong, we're not out of the game quite yet. We can block the Scavengers with the Renegade Rallier and then try to bolt it to win. Our opponent's last card might be bad. The Aether Vials are certainly not good here. So they have Foretold, they have Leanin, they have Aether Vials, they have Eternal Command, they have Eternal Witness, they have Cryptic Commands. They just have so many crazy pieces that don't necessarily work well together, but when they work, it is something. And we also still don't know. We haven't seen a Bloodbraid Elf. Surely they have Bloodbraid Elves with their Ancestral Vision deck, right? They have to. All right, I'm going to try to bolt this thing now. This way, if our bolt gets countered, we know not to block. With all of that said, if our opponent's last 2 cards are bad, then I guess we have the only threat on the table. We did get the Scavenging Ooze off. Red, Huntmaster of the Fells. Okay. Yeah. Their cards were not bad. Ours are, though. Oh, man. And now it's going to transform, and that's going to kill us. Well, we can't attack. Our opponent gets a 4/4 here. You know, we can actually make our Knight of the Reliquary big enough, I think, to get through it. So I think we can actually make our Knight a 7/7 here. Yeah, there's 2 damage to our Knight. Well, if they come in with a Ravager, I think that's good for. I think that's our best shot. Again, we need all of their cards to be bad. Gosh, and our opponent has... Oh, come on, game. This is after we obviously drew the Bojuka Bog. Yeah, some days Magic Online just does not like you. Let's see if they play pre-combat so they can then eat the land, so our Knight of the Reliquary can't even get large enough to take out the Ravager or the Fells. Our opponent's deck is crazy sweet, though. Frustrating as all heck to play against, but pretty sweet. Guess I can fetch down here. How tilting, though, that we couldn't Bojuka Bog in response to that. Not that I guess we would have, because then would obviously we take 1,000,000 damage, but... Alright, well, let's see if we make our Knight bigger. Alright, we'll get rid of this forest. All we have left sweet is a Ghost Quarters. I guess I get a Ghost Quarter. This Knight's big enough. I don't need to get any fetches, do any more damage. That was one of the best draws we could have. Oh my gosh, but I messed up and left myself with no green mana. Whoops. Well, that's kind of awkward. Didn't realize how low on colored sources we were here. I think I'll just end up Ghost Quartering myself to get the mana. So it's going to work out fine, but whoops. We'll go get a forest here, and then we can play our Bloodbraid Elf. I don't think it changes too much for what it's worth. All right, let's see if this is good. Voice of Resurgence isn't the worst. Because I know our opponent has a Scavenging Ooze in hand, and we don't know what else. I cast 2 spells this turn. This thing gets to flip. Our opponent gets another Wolf Token. We're just going to get overrun. And they have Electrolyze to go to our face. Okay. For free, which means they could also then hit a counter spell for one of these 2 cards. Okay. Okay, well, I can't attack, but we're hanging in there. The fact that our opponent did not cast the Scavenging Ooze on their turn, though, that can't be good for us. Oh, it's because they have the Vial to Vial it in. Because, of course, okay. I assume this will tap our creatures, and we will die. Our opponent's deck was pretty sweet, and they drew all the sweet cards. Oh, they just want to create the loop. All right, well, good game. That was something, that's for sure. Fun to watch. I'm glad our opponent got to do it, because that was pretty fun to watch. Thanks for watching, everybody.